Welcome to the third edition of the General's Report. I'm your host, Caleb Dunlop, and I'm alongside the Vice Chancellor for Intercollegiate Athletics, Tyler Unsicker. Tyler, thanks for joining us.
You have officially ran out of people to join on the third one, and you have ended up with me, but I am happy to be here, Caleb.
You know, I just figured there's so much going on around campus and in athletics, and with the women on the road, we might as well talk about everything that's happened in the last year in athletics and everything that's happening on campus and you know, another new record freshman class for LSU Alexandria.
Yes, one of my favorite things I get to do is I'm a part of our cabinet, and we talk about all the growth. And so I've been on this for 4 years. This is beginning my 5th year. And I don't know, it's gone so far beyond what they thought it would be with enrollment and everything that every meeting – it's all right, we have another record enrollment like it's normal business, and I know that is not normal on most campuses, and so we are very fortunate, and we have a great group of people here on campus that work really hard to put us in situations where we can have record enrollments, and it's pretty awesome. And you can definitely feel it on campus just walking around. It feels like there's more. We have a lot of growth online, but we are growing on campus and in our dorms and everywhere, and I know we're breaking ground on a new housing project here on campus in a couple weeks, and so there's just a lot of excitement going on. It's great.
Student Success Center I guess that's the front side of campus, even though we're over here on the back side a little bit with the fort, but over on the front side of campus, that should be opening up relatively soon.
Yeah,
of course.
I think it's supposed to be done end of October and November and be ready to roll come spring. So anytime there's cranes and trucks and stuff on campus and we're moving dirt, it's a good thing.
Well, it was a very good year last year in athletics. Men's basketball going to the round of 8. Women's basketball made a national tournament appearance. Both the Sockers made the Red River Conference tournament. Softball made their way to Fayette, Missouri for their national tournament appearance. A lot of postseason appearances there, and really everybody bringing back fairly strong teams.
Yeah, I joke with our coaches all the time that, hey, like, we have to be at all these events. We might as well just win. So it's been a lot of fun.
It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun when you win.
So, no, I'm super proud of them. And what I think is really cool and a testament to our university is this is the third year in a row that all of our head coaches are back together, and that's very uncommon, especially at a school of our size, that you would have a coaching staff, head coaching group that sticks around that long. And they're a really good group. They all work together really well, support one another, ask each other for tips, ideas, recruiting things, and just kind of bounce ideas off each other. And so I enjoy and appreciate all of them and all the hard work they put in. So I wish I could say it was all you and I, Caleb, that have done all this, but it's definitely not. And we are glad that we get to be a piece and a part of it. But in the end, our coaches work really hard. Our student athletes work really hard. And we're just blessed to get to be a part of it. It's fun.
I tell people I have nothing to do with it. I just write the stories and take some photos. That's about it.
We take no blame and no credit. So either way, we're gonna.
I don't touch the trophy. I don't do that.
Yes.
But around campus, you know, we mentioned some of the construction going on, and one of the things that was just recently completed and opened up is the tower out front, the Rise Tower.
Yeah, so they have we'd created a roundabout. It's been there probably almost 2 years now, and they'd been talking about this tower, and it was going to come, and it took a long time. But we finally got it all completed, and they did a really fun new tradition this year. They had all the freshmen walk through one way on their first week of school, and then when they graduate with their diploma and with their regalia and everything, they'll walk through the other side. And so it was a real big success. We had a lot of students out there, and just a lot of energy on campus. And I think that's been a really big focus, is how do we get more students engaged. And we've had a really great retention rate, and I think a lot of that comes from the on-campus activities and things and traditions that we're beginning. And with us being a relatively new 4-year institution, all of these traditions and things are starting now. Will be around for a long time, and it's kind of fun to be able to be at the forefront of a lot of these traditions.
I think it's interesting that you when you mention us being a relatively newer 4-year school, right? I mean, I went to a Coker now University. It was Coker College when I was there. It had been around since 1908. It was an all-women's school up until the late 1960s, and there were some traditions that were already established because there were things on campus that had been there since the school opened in 1908, and one of those for us was the bell tower out on the main quad. It wasn't so much of a tower anymore. The bell was fairly low to the ground, but one of their big traditions was every freshman you'd go in during orientation, and they had us broken up into, I think they called it families. We were little family groups, and basically it was to get people engaged on campus. And looking back, now I understand why we did it. You want to be engaged. You want, because those first couple weeks, that first month or two of being on campus is such a vital and important part of your college experience and meeting people. And but they would take us all out, and one by one we would ring the bell on campus. That was so for like 2 days straight, all you heard was the bell ringing. And then every athletic victory, when you were on the road, you got home, you go and ring the bell. It was just one of those traditions that Coker had established way back. And it's interesting to be at some place where we are establishing those traditions.
And you do things, and I've been at lots of different institutions, and you try and start things. Some things stick, and you're like, well, why did that thing stick? And other things just don't go as well as you think. We've done different kind of hand signals for different things and gestures, and try to get students more involved in different ways and get people excited. And usually the things that we don't think will stick usually become the ones that are the most fun. So I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun to be around, and it's kind of a neat experience to be at such a young institution. And you think of our athletic department, we're only 15 years old, and our oldest alumni are 35, 36, 37 years old. And so we're just in the infancy of our growth.
You mentioned athletics and a lot of changes over the last few years, at least since you've taken over the helm of the department. And one of those is the building we're in now, the Outpost, formerly the pool.
Yeah, a lot of these people come back to campus, former student athletes or whatever, and they walk in here and they're like blown away. And I think there'd been a lot of discussion about this for years, but just weren't able to pull the trigger. And I think it finally got to a point we've been spending so much money on the pool and getting very little use out of it, and continue to grow with enrollment and students on campus. We needed a place for them to play and to have. And so this building's been even more used than I think we ever thought it would be. And it's even turned into a kind of a mini ballroom. We'll have lots of different campus activities. They'll come over here and have different meetings. And so for us as a university, I think it's a great holdover. Hopefully eventually we can build a rec wellness center and get a new gym and all of that that comes with a new building like that. But for now, this is a great stopgap and a great opportunity for our student athletes to have an indoor place for baseball and softball to come hit when it rains, for soccer to come in here and play small-sided games. Tennis can even hit in here and do different things in the rain. So just kind of gives us another option, another opportunity. And in the end, like we and I talk all the time, the ultimate goal is a positive student athlete experience. How do we provide them with opportunities to enjoy it, to have good experiences, so that when they leave and they go make their millions, they want to give back to LSUA. And this is one of those small things. Some of the other things that we've discussed in the past is we have buses on campus, and we've recently gone to all charter buses for our travel for our student athletes, and just been really fun for them to come back off those first couple of trips that have not, for those teams that haven't been able to do it, and just the gratitude and excitement that they have for those small little things that most people wouldn't think too much about. But when you've had a bus break down on you and you've been in the middle of nowhere and you've had to deal with those adversities and different types of challenges, that when we can simplify and make things a more enjoyable experience, it really goes a long way.
Not that charters don't come with when I was at Central Washington, I think I was, at one point, maybe the curse for bus trips. I went back-to-back softball, baseball, and 2 trips in a row they had a bus breakdown. So I think it was just me.
You can't go on any trips.
I can't go on the trips.
Yeah, you're stuck.
But also, around athletics, we have the Outpost. Tennis has a locker room, and they just put in a cement walkway from the courts there.
Yeah, we just repainted. They painted it. They're putting a skirt on there. It's going to make it kind of fit more with campus instead of an eyesore over there. That's been a big addition for them. And a lot of this is kind of window dressing, but I think for the student athletes and our coaches, it shows progress. And I think ultimately that's our goal as an athletic department and as an administration across campus is how do we continue to move forward? How do we advance? How do we become more relevant? And a lot of it is recruiting, right? Like our student athletes have options, and as coaches are out recruiting, they're looking at everything from the weight room to what do we wear, what's our brand, how do we travel, what's our field conditions, how do we train, just all of the different areas. And so any ways that we can kind of set ourselves apart and be different and kind of more appealing to not only the student athletes but also the parents. One of the big ones that we've added recently is a study hall area. We have an academic success center, and there's probably not too many schools at our level that have a dedicated academic success center. And so our student athletes freshmen are required to do 3 hours of study hall, and other students, upperclassmen, are still required to do certain things depending on where they are with their GPA. But that's been a big asset, especially to our coaches as far as with parents. The parents love seeing that, and we put a big emphasis on our GPA and on being students before they're athletes. And so I think we've been above a 3.2 the last 2 years, and I think that's a big feather in our cap that, yeah, we've had a lot of success athletically, but academically we're doing really well as well.
Well, and I think that's one of the main reasons that all of us are here. We talk about the student-athlete experience, and I talk about it a lot with student athletes, that, yes, I get to write and cover sports, right? That's the main thing that I do, but in the end, I'm here because I want to help make an impact on their lives, and you know, there's a reason that student is before athlete in the term student-athlete, and you know, I always point back at that statistic that says it's like 1.75% of student athletes in college will go on to play professionally, and you know, that is an incredibly small number. And even beyond that, when you look at the length of the careers of professional athletes, like I think the average lifespan of a baseball player in the professional level has dropped from 5 years has gone up from 3 years to 5 years after the consolidation of minor league baseball. Mm-hmm. But for a long time, those guys were 3 years. You were one of 250 players in the organization. You would pitch a couple of years, play a couple of years, and then you were 21, 22. All right, we don't have team control anymore. We have to either 40 you, so we're just going to get rid of you. And you know, minor league ball, not exactly a great money maker.
Yeah, not glamorous.
It's not glamorous. I worked in single A for the Boston Red Sox for the Greenville Drive as a bat boy in high school. Got to be around Gabe Kapler, but just around that entire atmosphere. And of course, the Red Sox did a great job of taking care of their minor leaguers. And I know that there were some other organizations that did not do as proper of a job, and recently some of those have come to light. But when you talk to those guys, and they were trying to make it, trying to live out the dream, and you know, it's a couple years of a career, and so few people make it. You multiply, at least specifically in baseball, you multiply 26 by 30, or 26 by 40 even, because that'll get you to the 40-man roster. But that's how many players are having the full potential to make it at any given time, and that's a really limited number of slots compared to the amount of players there are around the country. So, you know, focusing on academics and putting that as the priority and the focus goes to better serve the student athletes later in their lives.
Yeah, and there's so many kind of ads that have gone out about we're going pro in something other than our sport, right? And I think, and that's part of the reason that I love it at where we are at our level is most of our kids understand that, and this is a great opportunity to finish out their career and their playing career, and they're preparing for that next phase of life, and we get to be a small part of that. And we always talk about athletics being a co-curricular, right, not extracurricular, because they are learning a lot of life skills of time management, how to deal with adversity, how to go through difficult relationships, and how do I work with a coach and players that I may not get along with, and all of these things are going to benefit them when they get out into their jobs and their careers, and hopefully they remember these experiences and provide them an opportunity to move forward from what they've learned here at LSUA.
Well, it is soccer season.
It is soccer season.
It is. The women are on the road today against Mid-America Christian, and the men will be at home tomorrow against Blue Mountain Christian. And we made some changes to that facility as well over the last couple of years, trying to evade the Louisiana heat as best we can.
I don't know if it's helped or not. We were able to build some if you've been out to the soccer field, you've seen 3 new I don't know, structures, dugouts, whatever you want to call them. One for each, the home and visiting team, and then one for us as game management in the middle to help do a scoreboard and stats and live stream. And I think each year we've added a little bit to it. We added some fans. This year we added a permanent camera. You may have noticed the better stream out there at soccer, and all of that is, again, part of the student athlete experience. And especially within soccer, a lot of our international students and their parents aren't able to be here, and so we've really worked, and it's been a process, but we've worked to get it to where the live stream is better, and you've provided a great play-by-play edition this year, which has been fun, and we've had a lot of great feedback on that, and those things, while seem very small, I think really go a long way, and I think people really appreciate the extra effort that you put in, and that we're trying to kind of set ourselves apart from other institutions and try and do it the right way. And we always talk about, let's be big time where we are, right? We don't have to just say, oh, we're just a small NAI school. We don't need to do all those things. And part of that is this, right? Like we joked before, like, why are we doing this? Why do we put ourselves through this? We got 1,200 other things we could be doing right now. But I think it's important that we showcase what a great institution we get to be a part of, and a great student athletes, and things like this, and small little things that we're doing at these different venues, especially at soccer, I think really go a long way.
The fans, I know, have been a huge hit out there.
Yes. Moving air.
Yes.
I mean, too much stagnant air here.
You know, it is. I was born in Maine, moved to South Carolina, out to North Dakota, then Washington State, and now here. And this is like the exact opposite of North Dakota. I mean, North Dakota was, my beard froze in the winter, walking 2 rows from the parking lot to the door to get to my office. This is the opposite. I mean, it is hot and humid, and even having lived in South Carolina for, I don't know, seventh grade through college, and then, you know, for a year or two more recently, I thought, I was like, I'm ready for the humidity of Louisiana. I got here. I was like, no, that's different.
Yeah, it hits you different. I used to, like, try and not get too, like, I just give up now. I'm going to be soaked. It's going to be wet. It's going to be hot. And you just embrace it. And I guess since I've done that, it doesn't bother me as much. I just take more showers.
That's the only thing you can do.
And it's true.
I definitely feel for our players out there, especially, you know, some of the internationals. And we talked with Reese about this when he was on with Audrey a couple weeks ago. But, you know, those guys, they come out here from the UK. And the UK, very similar to Maine's weather, you know, roughly similar longitude, latitude, all that fun stuff. And I remember Mackenzie saying that when he gave them their fitness numbers, you know, during the preseason, like, hey, this is where I expect you to be. Some of the guys said, really? That's it? He said, yeah, you know, you get out here, it's different. It's different. And when they got out here, they're, you know, it is different. It's a much different environment than what you're used to.
It is.
It's been a good start to the year for the men, including beating number 3 William Carey, the first time they've beat William Carey in the program's history. The Crusaders getting the better of them for just about a decade there, and William Carey, of course, is a very good program, you know, perennially a contender. With the men, you know, they're on the upswing for every year seems to be building, and when you look at what Mackenzie has done and the players he's brought in, you know, this is a very exciting team to watch.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it, and I've been just really impressed with. I tease them. So every game they've gone down a goal, and they left to go to this last game, and I was joking with them on the way out, and it's probably my fault because I'm making them think about it more. But like, can we just not give up a goal in the first 15 minutes? Like, I don't care what happens, just go park a bus in front of the goal for the first 15 minutes. And sure enough, they go give up a goal in the first 15 minutes. But they've been able to overcome it in all the other 3 games, and they weren't able to overcome it this last game. Had plenty of opportunities, but but they score goals, they attack, they play hard. Anyway, it's been fun to watch, and they still got a long road to go, and there's a lot of soccer to be played, but I think they're definitely trending in the right direction. It's been fun.
Conference play opening up for them in a couple weeks. Southwest at home will open the RRAC play for both the men and the women. And then we move into basketball as we get closer to – I know it's a long way off for us. Like, we don't want to talk about it, but just watching the calendar I think I saw the other day it's like the women's soccer senior day, something like that. It was like 53 days. And in my head immediately said, that seems like a decent enough way off that we can relax a little bit. Then I started doing the math. I was like, nope, that's actually not that far away.
No, so Caleb and I are at 99.9% of all home athletic events. And so we put it up on a calendar, and I sent him January, February, and March, last week or so. And I just said, I'm sorry. That's all it was. That's what the text was, a picture of all the events. And that I think on February 14th, we have 5 home events and homecoming and a Hall of Fame and a whole
in a very,
lot.
very exciting Hall of Fame class that we will
Be
announce soon.
Yes. No, it's great. And it's just that we know it. We go into summer, we take a deep breath, we try to figure things out, and then all of a sudden summer's over, and we're like, what happened? When did summer start? And then we get going, and then it takes me about a month to get back into it, and then to where I just forget that this is just normal. But
That's about right.
Summer ruins me.
We'll stick on Hall of Fame for a second. That's a relatively new thing as well in athletics. And you, of course, mentioned earlier that, we are a relatively young department overall, and the institution being a 4-year school, relatively young. And we're now on our 3rd Hall of Fame class. Of course, you started that a couple years back. And, with our programs eclipsing that 10-year mark, most of them, at least baseball, softball, got a little bit of a jump start as they started a few years earlier. But that the Hall of Fame, a way to look back and kind of honor some of the student athletes that have come through.
Yeah, it's been fun. That's one of my favorite things, is I get the opportunity to call them all and invite them to come and tell them they've been inducted, and just the gratitude that everybody has for their time here is always what awes me and keeps me motivated, right? Like, these kids come here and they don't know what to expect, and they kind of come in haphazardly trying to figure that life out and their sport out and their coaches out and their teammates out, and they leave here just different people, and they really do appreciate that. And multiple inductees over the last couple of years have just said, everything I've done and been able to do, a lot of it I owe to my time at LSUA and to the experiences that I had there. And it really is an experience. Like, it's unlike anything else. There's just not many situations that you can put yourself in anywhere. And like, a lot of our international kids come here and just say, well, we don't have opportunities like this where we come from. And so they come here, and it's just a unique opportunity and a unique time in life where you're not worried about all the other things in the world, and you can kind of narrow it down to focusing on yourself and your academics and your athletics, and just trying to figure out who you are as a person. It's just that time of life, and sometimes that's very enjoyable, and sometimes that's really hard. But I think all of our inductees really appreciate that, and for me, I enjoy listening to them come back and give their speeches and share kind of their experiences and all the things that probably at the time probably were horrible and awful, and they all look back on with fond memories and say that was all part of the experience. And so anyway, for us, it's kind of neat that we get to see them come in as freshmen, and depending on where you are and how long you're at an institution, you get to kind of see all of that come full circle. And with us not having super old alumni, a lot of them are younger, and we have families that come back and they have little kids, and that's just fun to see them run around on stage and getting to be a part of what their parents got to do here as student athletes. And so for me, that's one of the most enjoyable things about the Hall of Fame, is seeing all of that.
And it is fantastic too that when you look at who we're inducting and the caliber of student athlete that we're inducting, it's not just because we feel like we have to. I mean, those early programs, when you look at the success of the programs in their very first years, you don't find many institutions who start programs like that and immediately have the success that LSUA had.
Yeah, I joke with a lot of our coaches. I'm like, it's your own fault. You've had so much success with such little resources that now we're trying to move things up, and we're rocking the boat, but we're trying to improve in our scholarships. We're trying to improve our facilities. We're trying to improve in all these ways to give them better opportunities for success. And they've already had a lot of success with very small and limited resources, that now as we grow and get these opportunities and these resources, hopefully we continue to improve that experience for our student athletes and also for our coaches. I mean, recently we were able to add all the assistant coaches to full-time, and we previously only had a couple basketball coaches that were full-time assistants, and now we've moved into both soccer's And baseball and softball all now have full-time assistants this year, which is an awesome, again, student-athlete experience. More people working out for them that come to work every day with how can I make these student-athletes have a better experience? How can I help us win? How can I help them be better in the classroom? How can I help them be better people? And I just think the more people we have invested in them, the better opportunity they're going to have for success, and to be able to feel that love and that kind of desire of so many people to support them is really important.
And one of those opportunities, we'll ask you the hard question now.
Okay.
One of those opportunities coming across in the last few years, and obviously at our level, a little bit different than at the major D1s, but NIL.
Yeah, so we've never shied away from it. I think when I got here 4 years ago, I think we had one softball girl that she could send out if she sent out a message for some camp and somebody signed up for it, she was going to get like $10. And so, which is great, and that's what we want. We want to encourage it. I think some people shy away from it or think it's a bad thing, but I think it's an opportunity for our student athletes to make a name for themselves and go out and make some extra money or get some gift cards or do some different things. And Caleb's been instrumental in helping us come up with a couple different ways through Athletes Thread and Influxer, to where the student athletes can create their own brand and put their number and name on the back of a jersey or a shirt, and it can be purchased by family, friends, fans, and then they get a cut from that, right? And we encourage them. We want them to go out and talk to people in the community, send out different social media posts and get different things for that. Those are all opportunities that they have. And really, we talked to them about this at the beginning of the year, and Caleb goes and speaks with all the teams, but they have it's open, right? Like we're not holding them back. We encourage them. We will support them in whatever they want to do. Now, there's different rules and regulations that they have to abide within, but they're pretty minimal. And if student athletes want to go out and get it and work it and push it and try and get more money or more resources from that, then we're all about that and supporting them. So if there's anybody out there that wants to be a part of or support student athletes, you can work through us and we can get you in touch with student athletes, or they may be coming out and reaching out to you.
I think one of my favorite deals was an offensive lineman. I don't remember where, it was Midwest somewhere, but a rib place told him all you can eat. He just had to say it was like his favorite rib place in, whatever city it was. And like, that's a great deal for an offensive lineman. And at our level, it is a little bit different, right? I mean, we're not quite attracting that same level of fanfare, but it is still open to them. It's something that is available. And I know if Influxer was around when I was playing, my parents would have had every Dunlop shirt available. I'm actually surprised they did not make their own at some point, to be honest.
And it's fun to show up at games and have all this gear and the kids' names on the back of jerseys and shirts. It's been really fun. Baseball and softball really embraced that last year, and I think that'll just be something we continue to grow with.
It did. It adds something. Like it's always when you go to a professional game, and of course I have umpteen hockey jerseys sweaters, that I will rotate through when I go to a game, and I was living out in Washington State, we'd go out to a Mariners game and I'd still wear my Jackie Bradley Jr. Red Sox jersey or my Benintendi one, and seeing that same level of fanfare here at our level, it's awesome. It's great to see.
Yeah, it's been really good.
As we're about wrapping up here on the Generals Report, the women again on the road at MacU today. The men host Blue Mountain Christian tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. out of the General Soccer Field. And for all of us here at LSUA, I'm Caleb Dunlop.